Hello, and thank you for standing by for Bitauto's first quarter of 2020 earnings conference call. At this time, all participants are in listen-only mode. After the management's prepared remarks, there will be a question-and-answer session, and today's conference is being recorded. If you have any objection, you may disconnect at this time. I would now like to turn the meeting over to your host for today's conference.
Thank you. Welcome to Bitauto's first quarter 2020 earnings conference call. Speakers from the company today are Mr. Andy Zhang, CEO, Mr. Xiaoke Liu, President, and Mr. Ming Xu, CFO. After management's prepared remarks, Andy, Xiaoke, and Ming will be available to answer your questions. In addition, Mr. Zhang and Mr. Nick Hu, President and Financial Controller of Yixin, will be available to answer your questions related to Yixin. Before we proceed, please note that discussions today will contain forward-looking statements made under the Safe Harbor provisions of the U.S. Private Securities and Litigation Reform Act of 1995. Forward-looking statements are subject to risks and uncertainties which may cause actual results to differ materially from our current expectations. Potential risks and uncertainties include, but are not limited to, those outlined in our public filings with the SEC, including registration statement on Form F-1. Bitauto does not undertake any obligations to update any forward-looking statement except as required under applicable law. This call will include discussions of certain unaudited non-GAAP financial measures. Please refer to our earnings release, which was issued earlier today, for reconciliations of these unaudited non-GAAP measures to the most directly comparable unaudited GAAP measures. As a reminder, this conference is being recorded. In addition, a live and archived webcast of the conference will be available on our website. I will now turn the call over to Andy Zhang, CEO of Bitauto.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our first quarter 2020 conference call. During the quarter, the COVID-19 outbreak significantly impacted economies in China and throughout the world, affecting most industries, including the automobile sector. With the subsequent nationwide lockdown, new passenger vehicle sales for the first quarter of 2020 declined significantly year-over-year. While the difficult industry environment adversely impacted our advertising and transaction businesses, we were, however, pleased that our key operational metrics maintained stable growth throughout. According to QuestMobile, daily active users of the Bitauto Media app and the combined DAU of both the Bitauto Media app and Auto Pricing app increased by 259% and the 46%, respectively, in April 2020 compared with October 2018, when we introduced the upgraded Bitauto app. Despite the industry headwinds, our overall number of sales leads remained resilient, showing with only a slight 2.6% decline year-over-year for the quarter, and the proportion of our organic sales leads maintained an upward trajectory, reaching 73%. As a result of ongoing improvement in the quantity and the quality of our sales leads, our subscription business continued to gain recognition from our dealer customers. As a result, our annual retention rate for paying subscribers achieved a record high in the first quarter of 2020, and with more dealer customers upgrading to our premium and deluxe premium service packages, we further enhanced our ARPU for the period. Despite the downturn in the first quarter, our advertising business is recovering robustly as auto sales rebound recently, and automakers become increasingly aware of our improved traffic and the sales leads. We have also continued to make progress in our long-term strategic brand building campaign during the first Chinese New Year holiday. Our intensive advertising push across multiple channels helped to raise our profile among consumers, as demonstrated by a surge in third-party index scores during the period. In May, we rolled out new TV commercials and the posters to accompany our auto pricing bargaining shopping season campaign, further enhanced Bitauto's brand awareness among the general public. During the quarter, decreased automobile sales volumes and the reduced consumption level significantly impacted Yixin's transaction business. Yixin's total transactions volume were approximately 52,000 units, representing a 64.6% year-over-year decrease. In spite of the uncertainties in the sector, we're confident that Yixin's industry leadership and the clear competitive advantages will allow it to further strengthen relationships with business partners and capture more business opportunities in the months ahead. Looking ahead, we will remain committed to our core business strategies to enhance Bitauto's long-term industry leadership. First, we will increase and improve our content, product, and service offerings. We also aim to strengthen our efforts to increase mobile traffic as well as the quantity and quality of our sales leads in order to optimize customer ROI on Bitauto's platforms. Second, we will increase and improve our content and product and service offerings. Second, we will continue our strategic investment in brand building to help broaden our user base and to further raise our brand value among consumers and business partners. Third, building on the strong customer feedback in the first quarter of our AI-based result-driven marketing solutions, we will work to further expand this business with mainstream automakers. We are confident that our advanced data-driven marketing solutions will significantly improve the effectiveness of our automaker customers and help them sell more cars in this challenging environment. Finally, Yixin will continue to adopt conservative risk assessment standards and work closely with our business partners to overcome industry challenges while rolling out diversified products that improve customer service in order to create new growth drivers. In summary, Bitauto will remain devoted to enhance our competitiveness and offerings as the leading provider of internet content and the marketing services and transaction services for China's automobile industry, exploring ways to add value to auto users and owners, automakers and dealers as the economy begins to recover. Finally, as you may just see, earlier today we issued a press release announcing that Bitauto has entered into a definitive agreement for the going private transaction originally announced last September. The transaction is expected to close in the second half of 2020, subject to customary closing conditions and the shareholder approval. For further details, please refer to the press release on our website. With that, I'll turn the call over to Min to go over the financials.
Thank you, Andy. Good evening and good morning, everyone. In the first quarter, revenue from our advertising and transaction business was impacted during the COVID-19 outbreak. However, we have seen a strong recovery in these businesses as the automobile market picked up in April. Our profitability during the first quarter was under pressure, mainly due to the increase in provision for credit losses of financial receivables by Yixin, as well as Bitauto's continued investment in branding and marketing initiatives. While we are still closely monitoring and assessing the impact of COVID-19 on our business, particularly on asset quality in our transaction services, with the worst of epidemic likely behind us and the automobile industry starting to recover, we're confident that our operating and financial performance will continue to improve for the rest of 2020. In the long run, we believe Bitauto's strategies will enhance operating efficiency and create strong value for our shareholders. Now, let's look at our Q1 2020 financial highlights before moving to Q&A. Please note that I will reference mainly to financial figures in RMB in the following discussion. Bitauto reported revenue of RMB 1.74 billion in the first quarter of 2020 compared to RMB 2.73 billion in the corresponding period in 2019. Revenue from the advertising and subscription business in the first quarter of 2020 was RMB 775.4 million compared to RMB 897 million in the corresponding period in 2019, mainly due to the decrease in marketing spending by automakers caused by the continued decline in new car sales and offset by slight growth in our subscription business. Revenue from the transaction service business in the first quarter of 2020 was RMB 849.7 million compared to RMB 1.65 billion in the corresponding period in 2019, mainly due to the weak passenger vehicle sales after the COVID-19 outbreak. Revenue from the digital marketing solution business in the first quarter of 2020 was RMB 113.1 million compared to RMB 187.9 million in the corresponding period in 2019. Cost of revenue in the first quarter of 2020 was RMB 629.1 million, compared to RMB 1.07 billion in the corresponding period in 2019. Cost of revenue as a percentage of revenue in the first quarter of 2020 was 36.2% compared to 39% in corresponding period in 2019. Gross profit in the first quarter of 2020 was RMB 1.11 billion compared to RMB 1.67 billion in the corresponding period in 2019. Selling and administrative expenses in the first quarter of 2020 were RMB 2.45 billion, representing a 63.3% increase from the corresponding period in 2019. This increase was primarily due to the increase in provision for credit loss of finance receivable and the increase in marketing expenses associated with the company's branding and marketing efforts, partially offset by the decrease in share-based compensation and expense related to personnel. Product development expenses in the first quarter of 2020 were RMB 147 million, representing a 8.4% decrease from the corresponding period in 2019. Share-based compensation, which was allocated to related operating expenses line items, was RMB 78.2 million in the first quarter of 2020, compared to RMB 144.2 million in the corresponding period in 2019. Non-GAAP loss from operations in the first quarter of 2020 was RMB 1.3 billion. The non-GAAP from operations of RMB 365.8 million in the corresponding period in 2019. Net loss in the first quarter of 2020 was RMB 1.28 billion compared to net income of RMB 92.8 million in the corresponding period in 2019. Net loss attributable to Bitauto in the first quarter of 2020 was RMB 832.1 million compared to net income attributable to Bitauto of RMB 32.5 million in the first quarter of 2019. Non-GAAP net loss in the first quarter of 2020 was RMB 1.04 billion compared to non-GAAP net income of RMB 284.7 million in the corresponding period in 2019. Non-GAAP net loss attributable to Bitauto in the first quarter of 2020 was RMB 644 million compared to non-GAAP net income attributable to Bitauto of RMB 1.152 million in the corresponding period in 2019. Basic and diluted net loss per ADS, each representing one ordinary share in the first quarter of 2020, amounted to RMB 11.61 and RMB 11.61 respectively. Non-GAAP basic and diluted net loss per ADS in the first quarter of 2020 amounted to RMB 8.97 and RMB 8.97 respectively. As of March 31st, 2020, the company had cash and cash equivalents and restricted cash of RMB 8.3 billion, cash provided by operating activities, cash provided by investing activities, and cash used in financing activities in the first quarter of 2020 were RMB 210 million, RMB 4.1 billion, and RMB 3.5 billion respectively. In addition, given Yixin's scale and significance to Bitauto, I would also like to share with you some of Yixin's operating and financial highlights for Q1 2020. Bitauto's controlled subsidiary Yixin, the primary operator of the company's transaction service business, facilitated approximately 52,000 financed transactions for the 3 months ended March 31st, 2020, representing a year-over-year decrease of approximately 64.6%. The decrease was primarily due to the sharply decreased trading volume of China automobile transactions and the lowered customer consumption capability caused by the outbreak of COVID-19. The total aggregate financing amount facilitated through Yixin's loan facilitation services and self-operated financing business was approximately RMB 3.9 billion. Amid the challenging macroeconomic environment, Yixin continued to adopt a conservative risk control methodology to focus on its loan facilitation businesses. For the first quarter 2020, Yixin facilitated around 50,000 finance transactions, representing a year-over-year decrease of 48% and approximately 96% of Yixin's total finance transactions. In first quarter of 2020, on the US GAAP, Yixin's total revenue was RMB 862 million, representing a year-over-year decrease of 48%. New core services revenue, which include revenues from loan facilitation transactions and the new self-operated financing lease transactions facilitated by Yixin during the period, were RMB 221.2 million, representing a year-over-year decrease of 56.7%. As of March 31st, 2020, 90-day plus days past due ratio and 180 plus days past due ratio for the all finance transactions, including third-party loan facilitation, were 2.6% and 1.6% respectively. On the US GAAP, Yixin's provision for credit losses of financing receivables in the first quarter of 2020 was RMB 1.07 billion. With that, I will turn to guidance for the second quarter of 2020. Bitauto currently expects to generate revenue in the range of RMB 1.85 billion to RMB 1.95 billion in the second quarter of 2020. This forecast takes into consideration of seasonality factors in Bitauto's businesses and exclude any impact of foreign currency fluctuation. The above reflects management's current and preliminary view, which is subject to change. Let's now start the Q&A session. Andy, myself, Xiaoke, and Yixin's Nick are available to take your questions. Operators, please go ahead.
Thank you. The question and answer session of this conference call will start in a moment. In order to be fair to all callers who wish to ask questions, we will take one question at a time from each caller. If you have more than one question, please request to join the question queue again after your first question has been addressed. And to ask a question, please press star and the number 1 on your telephone keypads and wait for your name to be announced. To cancel the request, it is the pound or hash key. Once again, for your questions, please press star and the number 1 on your telephone keypads. Once again, for your questions, it is star 1 on your telephones. Our first question is from the line of Eddie Wang of Morgan Stanley. Please go ahead.
Hi, Andy, Xiaoke, Ming. Thank you for taking my question. I have one question regarding the advertising business. So, as I mentioned that the first quarter advertising business actually is significantly impacted by the pandemic. But we have seen that, in April and May, the auto sales actually have been, recover, and in May it's a rebound quite strong. So just want to know, do you have seen any, recover of the advertising business in the second quarter so far? And maybe, you can also share with us about your view on the auto market in the second half of this year will be very helpful. Thank you.
Eddie, sorry, would you mind translating your question by yourself?
Oh, yeah, sure. Sorry, 感谢接受我的提问。我想问一下，就是说，因为我们一季度的广告业务其实因为疫情的影响，其实有一定的下滑。那其实二季度已经这个疫情的影响已经相对来说比较小了。然后我们看到整个新车的销售在4月份、5月份，特别是5月份，这个反弹也是就恢复也是比较快的。那想问一下，就是说，如果现在看二季度的话，整个这个广告的 OEM 广告的这块收入是不是有一个比较好的恢复？然后还想请问一下，就是说管理层对下半年整个车市的一个展望。谢谢。
你好啊，我是廖科，我来回答一下你的问题。
Thank Thank you for your question, Andy. I'm Xiaoke, President of the Bitauto. I will take your questions.
目前呢来看的话，整个的车市呢在4月份呈现了这个小阳春的恢复的状况。到5月份呢，刚才你也讲了，已经恢复到同比的一个正增长的一个情况。那整个的这个情况呢，我们是在疫情期间，一车的整个的大数据体系已经提前了有了一个预测。那我们也看到了，我们在2月份就已经预见到今年的车市会在疫情结束的时候，那整个的4月到5月一直到6月都会有一个恢复上升的期。
Okay, so as you mentioned, the auto sales rebounded quite strongly in April, and in May, actually, returned to positive growth for quite a long time. Actually, we foresaw this rebound back in as early as April, based on our experience about the industry and also based on our data, our traffic. And we expect that this could continue into June.
因此呢，我们当时基于这样的市场的预期，我们感受到了整个的目前的主机厂在小阳春的时候需要对汽车的促销进行份额的增强，因此呢，我们推出了杀价购车季，来满足整个的主机厂和消费者之间的需求的一个对接。
So we understand the need from the OEMs to try to attract as many customers as possible in this period. So that's why we launched our event, which is the auto bargaining season, and we offer that product to our OEM customers.
在杀价购车节和我们传统66的2个购车季的这个以电商为核心的营销的产品的推动下，那我们整个的2季度广告呢，目前的收入是有一个比较明显的回升。
So with the help of this new sales event, the bargaining season, and also traditional 66 event, we actually see a very strong reception from the OEM customers, and we see a solid recovery of the advertising revenue for ourselves.
同时呢，在今年的受疫情的影响，主机厂对整个的线索的依赖性和线索的需求性比往年增长的需求是更加的明显。那这也符合了我们一车在通过这1-2年的整个的投入，我们的线索的回升，那所以呢，我们可以为整个的主机厂提供比较充足的线索到销量转化的这种供应。
And we also noticed that in the recent events, months actually the OEMs are paying increasing attention or focus on sales leads. Although they traditionally you can think them as brand advertisers, but now they are increasingly focusing on the sales lead, and that I think also plays into our strategy and our transformation in the past few months, in the past 1 to 2 years. We actually, as you know, we have seen a very strong growth in the quantity and the quality of our sales leads, and that also helped us to that also are getting recognized by our OEM customers.
随着呢，同时呢，我们从去年就已经在商业产品上布局了以大数据和 AI 为核心的智能化的商业产品，所以呢，在今年的2季度，目前来看主机厂的欢迎度是比较高的。目前我们已经有19家主机厂跟我们都进行了基于线索智能的大数据的产品的合作。这也是对我们今年2季度的整个的销售额的提升有了明显的这个推动的作用。
So last year, as you recall, we make important investments and R&D efforts into our big data product and AI-driven advertising product. And these efforts are bearing fruits right now. We are seeing very strong reception and recognition of our product from our OEM customers. Currently, we have 19 major OEMs signing using our product, and that also helps our Q2 advertising revenue.
因此呢，在我们的电商的提前的布局，以及加上我们的营销电商的布局，加上我们整个的智能化的商业产品的目前提前的1年的准备和主机厂对于整个的线索的诉求，那可以看到易车呢在2季度，我们相信我们的整个的广告的这个表现还会能够在同比有一个比较良好的一个表现。
So with all that preparations, in-house different products, and also with the recognition from our OEM customers, we believe that we're confident that our advertising business will have a pretty good performance in Q2 and likely in the second half of the year.
以上呢就是我的回答，谢谢。
Thank you.
Thank you, Xiaoke. Thank you, Ming.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Bin of JP Morgan. Please ask your question.
管理层晚上好，谢谢接受我的提问。我有2个小问题，第一个是关于这个经销商业务的，就是我们之前也看到这个之家就是在我们更早一些时间报的这个业绩，就是说1季度这个经销商的数量有一个大概10%左右的下跌，主要是因为疫情。就是咱们这边是否看到一个类似的一个趋势？然后从这个经销商合同这个续约来讲的话我们怎么看这个疫情对这个续约率的一个影响？第二个很快的问一下，就是关于易鑫的 provision， 就是这个坏账这一块，坏账的计提EQ 有一个非常大的增长未来几个 quarter 的趋势我应该怎么看？I'll translate myself. So my first question is on the COVID-19 impact on dealer subscription business. Can you give us some color on the trend of the number of paying dealers in first quarter and maybe also in the initial trend into the second quarter? I noticed Autohome reported earlier roughly 10% decline in the paying number of dealers in 1Q. So just wondering if management have seen a similar trend because of the shutdown of dealer shops in the first quarter, and how will that impact the renewal rate of the dealership contract in the following quarters? My second question is regarding the provision of Yixin, which increased substantially in the first quarter. So how should we look at the trend in the next few quarters? Thank you.
Thanks, Bin. I'll take the first question, and Nick, the financial controller of Yixin, will take the second question. So I think in the first quarter and also so far in the second quarter, we haven't seen a large scale close down of dealerships. I think you also read from the news and also some of the research reports that the dealers actually are being helped by the OEMs and also by the banks during the COVID-19 period, and also which helped them to get through. So actually, even though they didn't manage to sell a lot of cars during that period, I think most of them actually survived. And as a matter of fact, if you pay attention to the share price performance of the dealership companies in H-share, you may see that a lot of them actually performed quite well. So for us, actually, we directly to answer your question, we if you read in our earnings release, we actually saw a record high retention rate for our dealership business in the first quarter of 2020. So well, technically from December to January, there were some decline in the number of dealerships, but that quickly rebounded. I think currently we are now already close to or above end of 2019 level. I think fundamentally we're actually pretty comfortable with our performance of the dealership business, the subscription business. I think fundamentally that was helped by that was driven by our strong and remarkable improvement in the quality and the quantity of our sales leads during the past 1 or 2 years. I think the dealers are feeling more comfortable and experiencing a very cost-effective ROI on using our product. And that's, I think, the key reason they choose to stay with our platform, and more dealers are using our platform. And we have been able to actually, even though we have announced last year that we won't raise the price this year, but actually we have been seeing a slight ARPU increase due to the mix improvement. More dealers are upgrading to our deluxe and premium packages. That's my answer to your question, and Nick will answer your question regarding the asset quality of Yixing.
Yeah, thank you, Bingbing, for the question regarding the provision of Yixing. So in the first quarter of 2020, and due to the outbreak of COVID-19, most economic activities in China were shut down, and our customers' payment capabilities were negatively impacted for sure, and especially in February and March. So this pushed up our delinquency ratio without exceptions. And in responding to such challenging environment, and we adopted very conservative accounting policies. So we booked about RMB 1 billion provision in the first quarter. But starting from the April, we did see some recovery from the first quarter. We see the recovery of daily repayment from our customers and also the improvement of the delinquency situation. But however, at this moment, the macro is still very challenging, and the situation somehow uncertain at some point. So we will still to adopt a very conservative risk control methodology in the second quarter, and to closely monitor our delinquency situation. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question is from the line of Zhang of CICC. Please go ahead.
晚上好，安迪总、小贺总、徐明总，多谢接受我的提问。我有一个问题，是我们 APP 改版和品宣也已经有了一段时间，这个是否会反映在我们广告会员业务上？我简单翻译一下。Good evening, management. Thanks for taking my questions. My question is on our own APP. We have updated our APP for a while, and we could find that our DAU data has already showed some visible improvements. I'm wondering how would this help our advertising and subscription business? Thank you.
你好，我来回答一下问题。
Okay, thank you. I'm Xiaoke. I'll take the question.
我们从去年对于整个的易车 APP 进行了持续1年以上的整个的改版，然后呢进行了不断的优化，同时呢我们在加上去年10月份开始了3年的品牌的传播的计划。
So we have been upgrading and optimizing our product of the Yixing APP for more than a year, and actually we started our 3-year rebranding campaign in October of last year.
从目前的结果来看的话，整个的我们的产品的运营的所有的指标都持续了超过18个月以上的增长，尤其我们的线索增长的动力更是十分的明显。
So far we have seen a very strong growth in every major operating matrix in the past 18 months. Particularly regarding the sales lead, I think we have seen a very especially strong growth in terms of in the area of sales lead.
正因为呢整个的线索的我们在数量和质量上有了明显的增幅，并且在行业里头目前所有的经销商和厂家在过去1年里头对整个的易车的口碑的好感度都有一个大幅的明显的上升。
So I think if you do some ground check, channel check in the industry, you will know that all the major OEMs and dealerships are improving their perception and their relationship with us. And all that improvement is being driven by the improvement in the quality and quantity of our sales leads.
在目前的整个的车市加上疫情的影响之下，客户对于整个的线索的渴求度呈直线的上升。因此呢，我们相信我们的改版和我们的品牌的换新计划对于线索的支撑，导致于在接下来经销商和厂商广告业务的支撑性的明显度会越来越强，并且厂家和经销商对我们的信心度也有了明显的大幅的提升。
So with the slowing macro economy and the impact of the COVID-19 epidemic, so we are seeing that, as I mentioned before, we're seeing increasing demand and focus on sales leads from both our OEM and dealer customers.
所以呢，大家也可以看到，我们在一季度整个的会员的续费和我们的版本的提升的量这些都是客户拿脚为我们的整个的产品的改善做了一个投票。
So as evidenced by the there's as I mentioned, a pretty good retention rate or contract renewal rate of our subscription business, and also there's a mixed upgrade as has been described, and all those are really a vote of confidence on our customers.
谢谢。
Thank you.
Thanks, 小柯总，徐明总。
Thank you. We are now approaching the end of this conference call. I will now turn the call over to Bitauto's CFO Ming Su for closing remarks.
Once again, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for your continued support. Please don't hesitate to contact us if you have any further questions, and we look forward to talking with you in the coming months.
Thank you for your participation in today's conference. This concludes the presentation. You may now disconnect, and good day.